Big news, Los Angeles. It finally happened. After years of gridlock, frustration, and endless debate, the $9.5 billion Purple Line extension is officially on its way. No more dreading the 405 or crawling down Wilshire. Soon you'll be gliding through the city underground instead. This isn't just another train, it's a fresh start for how Angelenos move. A real shift in the way the city connects. And in today's episode of Great Trainspeed, we're diving into what's taking shape, why it matters, and exactly where the project stands right now. The story of Los Angeles' Purple Line begins in the 1990s, when Metro's first subway segment opened as part of an ambitious push to bring rail transit to the nation's car capital. Back then, service ended at Wilshire Western, a modest start for what many hoped would become a backbone of the region's mobility. By the early 2000s, however, the situation had shifted. Traffic on the west side had reached gridlock levels, population growth was accelerating, and concerns over air quality and sustainability pushed city leaders to look beyond freeways. Calls for extending the line west gained momentum, reinforced by voters who approved dedicated funding measures to expand rail. That momentum ultimately produced the Purple Line extension, a 9-mile expansion that represents one of the most significant transit undertakings in Los Angeles history. Built in 3 phases, the project will link Wilshire Western to the Westwood VA Hospital, strategically connecting major destinations along the corridor. Once complete, the extension will tie Koreatown, Beverly Hills, Century City, and UCLA into the broader metro system, offering tens of thousands of riders each day a faster, cleaner, and more reliable alternative to driving. With an estimated cost of $9.5 billion, funded through a combination of local sales tax measures and federal grants, the project is both a massive financial investment and a decisive step toward reshaping how Los Angeles moves. But what does this expansion look like on the ground? Which milestones have been achieved and what obstacles remain before completion? Most importantly, when will Angelenos finally be able to board the trains? Let's dive into those details in the next part. And if you want to keep tracking the progress of this monumental project, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter here on Great Trainspeed. Building a subway under Wilshire Boulevard has been one of Los Angeles' longest transportation struggles, stretching back more than a century and marked by setbacks at nearly every turn. Back in those days, Wilshire was a corridor of mansions, upscale shops, and a thriving streetcar network. Yet wealthy residents worried about noise, vibrations, and the arrival of so-called undesirable passengers successfully lobbied to ban streetcars from the boulevard. The result was one of the first major streets in Los Angeles to prioritize buses over rail.
This is a very unique project.
But now everything has changed. The Purple Line extension is moving forward toward its completion, thanks largely to the tunnel boring machines, or TBM. These modern tunnel boring machines, stretching more than 400 feet and weighing close to 1,000 tons, can carve through soil while simultaneously installing precast concrete walls, turning the tunneling process into a safe, continuous operation. For the Purple Line extension, these TBMs are essential to the 9-mile project linking downtown Los Angeles to Westwood. A trip that currently takes an hour or more by car at rush hour will soon be reduced to just 25 minutes by train. Engineering challenges are constant. Crews employ earth pressure balanced TBMs to stabilize sensitive soils, while scout drilling is used to locate and clear hazards like abandoned oil wells. Each phase of the project reflects this technical precision. Section 1, running 3.9 miles from Wilshire La Brea to Wilshire La Cienega, adds 3 stations at La Brea, Fairfax, and La Cienega. At $3.1 billion, this first stage began construction in 2014 and is now more than 98% complete, on track to open in fall 2025. Final testing, surface restoration, and integration with the existing D-line are now underway, highlighted earlier this year by a 70-day shutdown to to connect systems and verify safety. Section 2 will push the line another 2.6 miles west to Century City by 2027, while Section 3 will extend 2.5 miles further to Westwood and the VA campus by 2028. These final phases are designed to tie UCLA, Century City, and one of LA's busiest employment hubs directly into the regional metro network. Still, no megaproject moves forward without obstacles. Funding debates, construction disruptions, and unforeseen ground conditions have all tested the line's progress. The question now is whether Los Angeles can finish what it started without the delays that often define U.S. transportation efforts. Do you think the Purple Line will stay on schedule, or will history repeat itself? Drop a 1 if you believe the project will hold steady, or a 0 if doubts remain.
And we are heading down to the Purple Line construction area.
Progress on the Purple Line extension has been steady, but not without its share of challenges. Crews have had to manage complex utility relocations, contend with unpredictable soil conditions, and carry out the delicate work of tunneling beneath one of Los Angeles's busiest corridors. Even so, engineering innovation, community support, and a shared recognition of the project's importance have kept it moving forward. With a $9.5 billion price tag, the Purple Line extension ranks among the most ambitious transit undertakings in Los Angeles history. Its scale has drawn criticism, particularly from those who argue that costs have escalated far beyond initial estimates and that congestion relief may prove limited. Supporters, however, point to long-term gains: cleaner air, reduced car dependency, and economic revitalization along the Wilshire corridor. The debate over whether the investment represents true taxpayer value remains a familiar theme in the city, where large-scale infrastructure projects have often struggled with overruns and delays. The human impact has been significant. Businesses along Wilshire Boulevard have endured years of disruption, from blocked sidewalks to constant construction noise, making it difficult to attract customers. Residents have faced dust, vibration, and the persistent rumble of heavy machinery outside their homes. Commuters, too, have absorbed the strain of lane reductions and detours on a corridor already notorious for gridlock. For many, the short-term inconvenience has been hard to accept, even with the promise of long-term transformation. Looking ahead, risks remain. While Section 1 nears completion, subsequent phases bring fresh uncertainties. Complex utility systems, shifting geological conditions, and tunneling beneath high-profile neighborhoods raise the possibility of delays. Political debates and funding challenges add another layer of risk, as is often the case with U.S. transit megaprojects. Yet Metro and its partners continue to frame the Purple Line as more than a construction effort. It is positioned as a once-in-a-generation investment in the city's future. In many ways, building the Purple Line extension is like assembling an immense puzzle beneath the city. It combines engineering skill, historical context, and civic ambition into a single project. And when the first trains finally roll, this won't simply be another subway. It will mark a milestone in how Los Angeles reinvents mobility for the decades ahead. So the questions remain. When will Angelenos finally board this long-awaited line? What changes will it bring to daily life in the city? And could it spark a wider transit transformation in Los Angeles? Those answers will unfold in time. Until then, we'll be here, following every step of the journey. So stay calm, train well, and we'll see you on the next ride of Great Train Speed.